Welcome back to Everyday Fitness. My name's Matthew.
I'm Liam.
Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We have a very special guest with us today, and we're basically going to talk through. We're basically going to talk through coaching, and health and fitness in general, but not just from a coach perspective, also from a client's perspective.
It's going to be an interesting one today. Something a little bit different. So I'd like to introduce the special guest. It's not me, unfortunately. I'm here every time. It is in fact Andy Davidson. So if you'd like to just sort of introduce yourself and sort of who you are, and obviously Andy is in fact a client under Matt. So
Andy. I've been training with Matt for like a year now. Known him for 12 years-ish.
Yeah.
Long time.
Too long.
Yeah. Progressions I've made with these guys is fucking... I swear.
Yeah, go for it.
It's like ridiculous. I'm sure I stand like 2 inches taller now.
Yeah.
all good.
Walk us through. So obviously we've been coaching. Like I said, we've been coaching now for about a year. With the questions we've got, it's going to delve into more about your views on coaching. So just for sort of background into the coaching between us, walk them through why you decided to, or you wanted to go through the whole coaching experience.
Well, I wanted to sound like a sob story. I've had a shit life, and basically it got to the point where I got chronic fatigue, where I could barely walk down the street, like 200 meters, and I'd be collapsed on the floor dying. And I thought, this is crap, so I'm gonna sort this out, and I just asked Matt for help. And so he gave me a program to like a meal plan first, like hit this amount of protein, hit this amount of calories a day, whatever, blah blah. And I was like, well, I'm doing this, might as well be going to the gym as well. Started out coming 3 days a week, doing not a lot really, and then I've been up to four days a week, fairly intensely, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily for you guys, but for me.
Yeah.
Because my weight went down to, I was like 11.5 stone, because of the chronic fatigue, I couldn't move. So I was just wasting away. And then I got up to almost 13.5 before we started cutting.
Yeah.
In the space of 10 months or so.
Yeah.
Like put on 2 stone.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
I think, I just wanted to sort of get you to talk through your why there, because I think a lot of people, when they start out, and you'll probably want to agree with me here, I think we've spoken about this actually in a previous video, a lot of people when they struggle for motivation or something, is because they don't really properly understand why they have their goal. Whereas when you've got something like Andy's example here, where his why is pretty obvious and pretty apparent to him, it's always something that he can go back to, is a reason for the fact that he's done so well, because he's had that motivation there like almost all the time. So I think it's just important, and something people can take from, is that obviously you might not have a situation where you've got something necessarily as obvious to you, but everyone will have a reason why they want to achieve their goal. It's finding and understanding that out.
Yeah. Like I said, so obviously 2 stone on over the course of like 10 months roughly.
Just under,
Yeah. So obviously Andy's discipline and obviously his motivation is probably as high as it's probably ever been. In terms of certainly with his fitness and his goal. Because you're in a cut at the moment, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Loving life.
So obviously cutting is not for everybody, and it's not, nobody wants to not eat food, mate, do they? So it's not ideal, but at the moment it's sort of what is the next sort of step before then entering.
Just another week, I think.
Yeah. We'll see. Before then, obviously re-entering another muscle gaining phase, which is good. So what we're going to do today is we've got a series of questions for Andy, and similarly Andy's got the exact same for us. So we're going to
know what they are.
The exact same question.
Yeah, we don't know what his questions are, he doesn't know what our questions are, so it's going to be quite interesting. You're going to get basically a live response, effectively. Now, I don't know what Andy's questions are like, so if if there's any swearing, I do apologise, Linda and Anne specifically. First question for you. What were your thoughts of coaching before sort of doing it and like versus after?
Honestly, it'd probably be that like it's mostly rich people who would get a coach or a personal trainer, like because you don't really hear about until you're in the gym like all the time and you see the kind of people who are getting coached and getting trained by professionals. You don't realize.
Yeah.
Like it seems like a thing that it's like actors do to get
Yeah.
fit for a role
Yeah.
or something like that. But you don't realize that how many people are actually doing it, and it's like a normal thing to do. Really.
Yeah.
If you want to get the best out of the gym, get a coach.
Yeah. What about like the actual process of it? Did you have like
I had no idea.
You had no
Like,
idea.
Other than like what you see in like movie montages where it's like
Yeah.
Rocky doing pull-ups on meat hooks, stuff like that. Nah, like I wouldn't. Nah, I had no idea. Not really.
Nothing at all. So you didn't know what to expect. It's like
not really.
Yeah.
I suppose then everything's like new there as well. So if you don't expect anything and then something happens, it's always going to be a surprise.
Yeah, like I didn't expect how in depth it'd be.
Yeah.
Like with the different programming and like all the macros, like protein, fat, calories, and all. Like I didn't realize how much you'd be able to tailor it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's actually part of one of my
Yeah.
things. But like it's just
No, I think it's a good point. 'Cause I think a lot of people when they hear about coaching think it's just like people see it as just sessions in the gym where they don't realise a lot of the sort of like stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
It's a service. It's a monthly service. If you were to be coached by the month, it's not 4 sessions as some people would see. It is through the month. So if you offer sort of your 24/7 support, then you're on hand for them whenever they need it. I'm sure Matt's like that with you. I'm like that with my clients. I'm sure you're like that with the rest of yours. It's not just when they're at the gym, that's it. We'll see you next week. It's sort of what happens behind closed doors. Like, it's similar to like an actual fitness journey. So people just see it as like somebody has lost weight or somebody has gained weight. However, there's so many underlying factors that people don't see that Andy, I'm sure you'll now be aware of them. So you'll know how important sleep is, recovery, obviously knowledge of macronutrients, stuff, just general stuff like that, and like different stressors and stuff like that. He'll know all about them, and to maybe social media, for example, which is sort of a big cause of like this naivety within like the fitness industry in particular. It'll be sort of like just swept under the carpet, all the hard work he's actually put in to get this sort of top goal sort of thing.
Yeah, I wasn't drinking fit tea like.
Yeah.
Blue tea.
Yeah.
Let's come in next month.
Right, happy days. I think that's that question.
Yeah.
Sorted. So have you got a question for us?
So what factors do you take into consideration when creating programs for different clients?
Ooh, good question.
How do we want to do it? Do we want to answer this individually or do we want to just put points together?
I can just put points together because there's going to be quite a lot.
Yeah, there is.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So, immediately, sort of, training age comes into it. So have they trained before? So I take it this is from like a consultation sort of perspective, like the first meeting of the person. I'd want to know obviously lifestyle factors. So, what they've done previously in terms of exercise. Have they ever followed a program? What sort of program? How did it fare? And this is just sort of like obviously the training side so far. Sort of what the goals are and how we need to sort of put together a program and a system in place for them to achieve that as efficient as possible. So bearing in mind the video we've just filmed actually on like programming and stuff, not to go too intense too fast, so keep it nice and sustainable and manageable for the client, but at the same time ensure that we're making sort of progress week by week. So that needs to be assessed before anything's even put together. We need to assess what littler aspects for the program need to be put in. Now I've got some more, but I'll let you jump in on some.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good question. There's tons and tons of things you've got to consider, but I think one of the main things you've got to consider first and foremost is the level of sort of skill and motivation of the client. So if you've got someone who is high skill, and by that I mean, say for example, someone who's got a quite high training age, someone who's maybe tracked food before, they maybe sort of looked at managing their recovery and stuff like that. So if you've got someone who's already high skill, then you can almost already put them into a program that's maybe a bit of higher intensity in terms of what they've got to manage. But if you've got someone who's lower skill, then obviously you start at the very basics. So you're starting at, have they tracked food before? What's their nutritional knowledge like? Like some people might not even know what carbohydrate is.
Yeah.
So you've got to explain that. And it comes to training as well. Some people's maybe never been in the gym before. So like when we started, you trained before, but your training knowledge was pretty much.
Well, I ended up in the hospital when I trained before.
Yeah, exactly. So we had to start straight from scratch.
That says it all.
So you've got the sort of skill aspect, and then you've got the motivation aspect as well. So if someone's highly motivated, like you were, I could give you like what. So when we start, obviously, whenever you start with someone new, you keep it pretty straightforward. When we started, you were straight into tracking, straight into calorie protein targets, straight into a training program with quite a few varied exercises. And then we started there, but to be fair, those 4 things right there are quite a lot for someone who's new. But I knew because you were quite motivated, you'd be straight on the ball with it. If someone's got low motivation, because not everyone comes to us with high motivation,
No.
you might have to start at the very basics.
Might initially think they have, but they haven't.
Yeah, you might just have to start at protein focus. So I think skill and motivation are a big one, but yeah, there's tons. There's a lot.
I also think that whilst on the subject of like motivation, there's also the other side of it as well, and it's when people maybe have got a lot of stress at home, so you don't want to be putting them on an intense program straight away because it's just not ideal for that person. Then obviously you need to micromanage as well certain little aspects. So when we go into a training program and begin in first session, for example, we need to take assessment of like posture, mobility and flexibility, and just see what sort of movements we're already good at and maybe what we need to sort of work on. So is the body sort of reacting well to the exercise that we're doing initially, or do we need to target certain other aspects, certain other muscle groups, just to sort of enable us to be able to perform the exercises to a higher level, basically, without sort of focusing on like the external application of increasing like the weights and stuff like that first, which is important. Like I said, there's so many. But it is a good question. But hopefully the ones that we've just sort of reeled off there, we'll probably have missed a couple, but we could literally be sat here all day discussing them. So hopefully the ones that we've sort of said have maybe sort of answered your question, and most of them you'll probably already know already from coaching, but hopefully whoever's watching as well, you'll be able to have gained like a better insight of that. But yeah.
Okay, next question. This is a little bit similar to the last one, but how would you describe coaching now from your perspective? So if you had to explain coaching to someone who didn't know what it was,
Someone who like
had no idea, how would you describe it?
Alright, well, it's kind of, my answer here is kind of going to tie into my question.
Right, okay.
But most of it isn't actually in the gym.
Yep.
Or to do with exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It's nutrition, it's sleep, it's having someone that you know they know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, my shoulder hurts.
Yeah.
I came in, told you guys, and you figured out why like immediately.
Yeah.
Is that it's not just some big guy in the gym shouting at you to get like 1 more rep, come on!
Yeah.
It's like it's not someone bullying you into getting fitter. It's someone leading you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not pushing you. They're leading you.
Yeah.
And just I don't know. It's not what films and stuff make it seem like.
Yeah.
It's working like with a person as opposed to like most people see it like if you've got a personal trainer then they're your boss in the gym.
Yeah.
But it's more like just a healthy relationship of like just two people just helping each other.
Yeah.
Because obviously when we have clients they help us as well. Like I learn stuff every day still.
Well, for example, an example of Matt not being my boss as such in the gym. There was a couple of movements I didn't like, so he rotated them off me.
Yeah.
We do different things that I prefer to do.
Yeah.
Because I hated a couple of the movements. It's like I say, it's like a synergy.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Happy days.
So yeah.
Well, my answers aren't as in depth as
No,
yours.
I like that.
Is there a lot of trial and error involved in creating programs and stuff for each client, or is there generally like a one rule fits all sort of thing?
Alright, so I'm going to answer this straight away, just the question, and then we can sort of talk about it. There is no one way, there's no one size fits all. We've literally just filmed a video genuinely talking about this, and essentially everything with your training program, with your nutrition, every little aspect is trial and error. There's nothing that's really sort of set in stone and factual, because the reason for that is because everybody's different, and all their lifestyle factors, they're different. How many times they train, that's different. Everything is different, so it means that the training program, so specifically that we'll talk about, is going to be different as well. And at first, it will be trial and error based. So the number of days that you can get into the gym will be trial and error based, because a client may come to us and say, I can train 4 days a week, but some weeks it's going to be less, so we maybe have to drop. And then similarly, when we begin training, the actual weights that we're lifting, as soon as they become competent with an exercise, and they start to develop slightly, it means that we need to increase their weights on them exercises. But at first, it's going to be sort of working to RPEs, for example. So how difficult the exercise is, it's going to be working within those, just to get like a rough guideline of where we need to be at roughly. So I'd say trial and error based for the majority, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. There's always be like rough guidelines. So for example, with nutrition, like when I've given you like sort of protein requirements, stuff like that, there'll be rough guidelines.
Was it 2.2 grams per pound of body weight?
1.2 for high end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there'll be like rough sort of guidelines. But a lot of it will come down to trial and error, just because everyone's different.
I think you need to stick with the rough guidelines initially, because that is all you can really base it on. You can't just eat a load of chicken. Somebody's going to go, alright, how long's a piece of string? So you need to stick within them rough guidelines at first, and then as soon as you see changes, whether they're good or bad, that's where you can adjust or regress and sort of tighten it and get it as precise as possible. And that's going to make it more efficient.
This is why social media is sometimes so
shy.
Yeah, bad as well, because people will state things as in this is what you have to do, when it's never the case. So rather than people testing what works for them, maybe going off what people say, but going off this is just a rough recommendation and then working around that, rather than just thinking this is exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because the boring answer to almost every question, the boring answer we get is it depends.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's like, what should I train? Or like, what split should I do? Or should I do this exercise? Well, it depends.
How many reps should I do for fat loss?
Yeah, it depends. Everything depends on the individual. So it's a boring answer, but
it's the right
answer. So trial and error, yes. Like the amount of things we do differently now, it's what we did when we started.
It's genuinely nuts.
Probably massive.
Genuinely nuts.
So yeah.
Hope that answers your question. Pretty simple one for us to answer, but it is important because there's so many naive people, not in like, you know,
yeah, sorry.
There's so many naive people who begin their fitness journey not because they don't want to know, it's just because they don't know. Which I imagine is like when you started, you didn't know much, but you wanted to know.
Yeah.
And then there's a difference between them sort of people and people who don't know and still don't want to know. And that separates the men from the boys, mate.
They just want to
change. Yeah, exactly, that's it. And I think 4 sets of 8 on bicep curls, or 4 sets of 8 on ab crunch, we're going to get a fucking 6-pack, mate. Unfortunately not, mate, you need to get rid of that layer first. Do you find coaching impacts like different aspects of your life, so not just like the training and nutrition side, so everything else that comes with it, does that have an impact on your life outside of the gym?
Yeah. For example, now, well, at the moment, being on a cut, if I was to go on a night out,
Yeah.
I'd have to like not eat during the day.
Yeah. I'll drink vodka water.
Or, for example, like I play PlayStation with my mates a lot, including Matt, and if like I've followed Matt's lead on this one, where it gets to about 9:30, and we're like, alright, that's it, no more blue light.
Yeah.
Gotta relax and go to bed. Gotta get up and train in the morning.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I go for a walk, and if I start to feel tired, I'll just be like, I'll push on a bit further.
Yeah.
Like, keep going. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it was like when, it was actually before I started training with you, when we went up that fell.
Yeah.
We got like 2/3 of the way up, and I started being sick.
Mm.
And then I was like, I don't fucking care, I'm gonna get to the top of this fell. And I was like, God, I was so proud of myself.
Yeah.
It sounds so stupid, but after not being able to walk like down the road to the shop, walking up a fell, I felt like I was gonna cry.
Yeah. Yeah. So from like a mindset point of view, do you feel like it's had a big impact?
Yeah. Personally, to me, I'd say the mental changes are actually bigger than the physical changes.
Yeah.
Like more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because obviously having stuff like chronic fatigue, things like depression just naturally come with it.
Yeah.
If like for my whole life, when I was a kid, I was, because I grew up in the countryside, I was always out on my bike and climbing trees and up on the fell and like swimming in the river and all that stuff. And then when I was a teenager, I was pretty much doing the same thing. I didn't really have much of a life. But
how it's changed.
And then just not being able to do anything anymore, it's really depressing.
Mm.
Yeah. So now that I can do, like, I'm the fittest I've ever been probably.
Yeah.
So I can do anything that I've ever been able to do. I'm more now. And it's like sunshine and fucking rainbows.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which it impacts everything. Like relationships with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there was times when I could have been a bit like, because I wasn't feeling good about myself. It wasn't that I was trying to put other people down, but it was like I didn't care.
Yeah.
And now if one of my mates or anyone tells me something good, I'm like, oh, fucking good for you, get in.
Yeah.
Like it's
just mindset.
Yeah, it's just a better mindset to have. It seriously changes everything about your life.
I even find with my training and stuff like that, even with like time management and routine, that helps me massively.
Structure,
yeah. I find that a big difference with
most of them are just like skills, aren't they? So like people think that if you start your fitness journey and your discipline's quite low, so you can't stick to it, or your adherence is quite low, whatever, people think that that's just because they don't have discipline, and shit like that. It's not a thing. Like the whole process of like your fitness journey will sort of give you skills and sort of develop them skills more than you ever thought you ever could. So my discipline used to be shite, mate. I used to be 245 pounds, mate. I had no discipline, man. Then Jaffa Cakes got eaten. Now I know what I want and I know what I need to do, and that's just through knowledge. And my whole mindset's changed. I know as much as he's laughing and taking a piss at me now, that's fine, but I know his has changed as well. Through a similar sort of journey, but just a different sort of principle. And then obviously, same as Andy as well. So we've all made it, mate. We're all making it.
What do you do if a client isn't making progress when you know they should be? Like, do you think that they're not following your program? And then in that case, what do you do?
Okay. Yeah, I'll start this one off. So, first of all, there's two sides to that, obviously. And one of them is, are they doing what you want them to do, or are they just genuinely not making progress? Unfortunately, it's not the latter, because I'm not trying to be arrogant here, it might sound arrogant, but like we know what we're talking about more than a lot of other people just because we're qualified to do what we do. Now, some things that won't work for some will work for others and vice versa. However, for the most part, for I'd say 95% of people, if we tell them to do something, it's for a specific reason. So whether that's fat loss, and we say, right, eat these calories, or get these steps in, and they come and go, yeah, you know what, yeah, I did it, all week as well, yeah, look, I did 20,000 steps that day. Now, I've got to be careful here, because it could get something out the fact that essentially the bigger picture is don't cheat yourself, because if you're paying for a service from a fitness coach, okay, so you're paying for advice and help and assistance with your journey, right? So why you would come and sort of try just get away with it and be like, oh yeah, I'll just do it, and then go home and tan the Jaffa cakes, it's not beneficial to you, and it's not beneficial to your coach as well. So just be careful on that one, I'd say. And it's something that me and Matt were talking about the other day, and it's interesting that you should ask this question, because I think it was a couple of days me and Matt were talking about it. It was an ideal client, and that being, for me, a robot. Because genuinely, if I could just have somebody who would just go, right, Liam, whatever you fucking tell me, mate, I'll do it. I'd be wheeling away, mate. My arm would be in the air, and I would be shearing. Shearer! Because if I tell them what to do, more than likely, it's going to have a positive effect. Now, it's not. It would never have a detrimental effect. I'd hope anyway. So to have somebody just go, right, Liam, just whatever you tell me, I'll do. I'm sure it's the same for you. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be beneficial. So I know I've kind of veered offside a little bit with that one, but the main point for me is it's never. It's difficult, because I would not want to say that my client is cheating on the diet, for example, or something, or they're not working hard enough, but sometimes, unfortunately, that is the case. So we've just got to then address that issue as it comes. So if they are, and we know that they are, maybe it's unsustainable, or maybe something needs adjusted, or maybe intensity's too high in sessions and stuff like that. So it's just working with it and not putting them down and being like, what the fuck are you cheating? Shouldn't be doing that. It's not doing that, it's working with them.
That's the way I've thought of it. It's not like when you're at school and you haven't done your homework and
yeah.
you teacher like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it for you.
Yeah, it's not necessarily telling them off, it's making them aware of like the effects of what will happen. It'll be like, oh well, you won't, like, the goal that you want isn't going to come as fast if we're like this now. So it's sort of like nipping it in the bud and eradicating it whilst we can, whilst it's like a smaller issue before it grows into something bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all that. Like Liam said, obviously, it can be from both ends as well. But if someone is making a mistake, a lot of that's going to come with time and experience anyway. So, for example, a lot of people underestimate how many calories they're eating, and a lot of people overestimate how many calories they're burning. So, someone might just not have a very good skill set yet at tracking foods. They might think, and they might honestly think they're being honest with the amount of food they're bringing in, but that might be off. So it comes down to the coach to sort of address that and make sure everything's on. And then, like Liam said, again, it comes down to communication. So if there's a breakdown, and if we think, hang on a minute, this should be bringing results, why is it not? Then we've got to get around that.
Yeah.
And then with communication just comes honesty as well. Both got to be honest. But at the same time as well, it's not uncommon for the coach to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And we're not going to sit here and say that everything we do 100% of the time is 100% correct, because at the end of the day we're humans and everyone makes mistakes. So, like with you, for example, when I said to you, oh yeah, 4 weeks in, we'll probably be lean enough to go masticate again, I was wrong. We've had to do it longer.
8 weeks later.
Yeah, we've had to go longer. So
salt that.
But I'm more than happy to make that point clear. Because, like I said, people make mistakes, and then it's learning from that and moving forward from that. So a lot of that comes down to communication.
Also, like, whilst we're on the subject of maybe it not being necessarily the client's fault. It is also can be the coaches, like Matt said, but also we need to account for sort of stuff that we don't expect as well. So weight plateaus, that does happen, mate. That's a thing. So weight plateaus, maybe cravings have just gone through the roof, for example, or hunger's not there, depending on what sort of side your goal is. And then, like I said, it's just accounting for them sort of factors and addressing them. So adjusting and regressing where necessary is what I'd say.
I think as a coach, you have to take responsibility though.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe you think it's
like with
your
anything.
fault.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd say the client should take responsibility as well.
Yeah, so both sides have to take responsibility, but just from a coaching perspective, like, even if you think the client is making a mistake, I think you just have to take it on yourself to find a way around that.
And that'll separate the good coaches from the bad coaches. So a bad coach will probably say, well, you are a bad coach, this is you, so I've said it. If you just sit there and go, oh, well, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then you're shit at your job, mate. So we need to, it's important, not just for your fucking ego to be like, it's not my fault. It's not, it doesn't matter who's at fault, it's just working with that and making sure it doesn't happen again, effectively. Yeah. Happy days.
Obviously, when
Take a breath.
you started out, your knowledge was pretty
Yeah.
low, would you say? So how have you found, how much is your knowledge on training, nutrition, everything outside it improved? But then on top of that, do you notice now, say everyone Gen Pop, so outside sort of like fitness industry, do you notice anything now that they perhaps you would say they do wrong, or their mindset with things, or their current knowledge, would you say is anything you notice where people will say something you're like, actually?
So in terms of like, what was the first part of the question?
How much you found your knowledge to have improved?
So like, for example, in the gym, when one of my other mates came in a few weeks ago, I was noticing he was doing loads of movements wrong. So I helped him, just by basically echoing what you, if I was doing that, what you would say to me in that situation. So like, that just at that moment got me thinking like, actually I know quite a bit about what to do in here now. In terms of like nutrition, like with Libby, my girlfriend.
Shout out.
Yeah. Libby next tattoo.
All the plugs.
Like with nutrition and stuff, I'd just give her a little nudge here and there. Maybe don't eat too much of that, or maybe eat a bit more of this and stuff. Because with her being a vegetarian, it's hard for her to get protein and stuff in. So like,
that's the beauty of it, I suppose, because obviously Libby's now training as well. She's still relatively new.
like 4 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's good. Like the beauty of it is, the beauty is that you're in a relationship with her. That's probably pretty beautiful as well. But at the same time, you're able to pass your knowledge on that you've learned as well. So in the past like 12 months or so, what you've picked up, not even just from like a coaching perspective, not even from just like what like he sees in the gym and stuff like that, but everything outside of it as well. So like your nutrition, you just be like, you'll have a better idea of certain macronutrients, for example, and targets and stuff for Libby as well. So you'd be like, oh, right, I'd maybe go for this, I'd opt for this, and then it's just going to help her out. And then maybe down the line, when she becomes more educated and just learns a little bit more, she might have a friend that needs help as well, and it's just a fucking beautiful circle of life.
And in regards to like the second part of the question, things that I notice that people do now, where I'm like, you're wrong, or like you're not right, at least. Our mate the other day, when we were talking, when I was saying how I was on really low fats on that day.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I am as well. And I literally said to him, are you tracking like? And he's like, no. Like, well, you don't know then.
Yeah.
How do you know? You're assuming.
You can't measure what you don't control.
Yeah. You just making an assumption that you've not eaten a lot of fat, where he just made like 6 pizzas or something.
yeah.
But like,
who is this?
Chris, you don't know.
Oh, alright.
But I was just like,
shout out.
I was just like, you gotta track if you want to be making bold statements like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And like, I see people in my family and whatever, they won't eat all day.
Yeah.
And then they'll eat like crisps and shit at night. And it's just like, why won't I lose weight? I'm not eating. But it's just like, you're eating shit when you do eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all high calorie dense.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
like it's, I don't know.
You just want to kick him in the dick, don't you? And just tell him what to do, man.
Yeah, like it's something I never would have
Four before.
not. And now I'm just like, everyone's an idiot.
So it all comes with learning and knowledge.
Yeah,
Learning.
like
Weird, that, isn't it?
ignorance is bliss, like they say.
Yeah.
Because now that I know, like, I might want to eat that, like, coffee tiramisu or something. I'm like, well, I can't have that today. I'll have to have some rice or something instead.
Yeah.
But, you know, it doesn't come easy.
Or compensate calories.
Yeah.
So that was part 1 of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check in next week for part 2, where we're going to go through the rest of the questions. You don't want to miss it.